second or third time down the court, went to jump stop and just was right back at the very beginning. At that point, I was kind of in the mode of like, this is my life now. And like, I guess I just can't do this stuff anymore. I feel like I've done it all at this point. I mean, I've spent thousands of dollars just trying to get myself back to feeling like how I feel like I should. I played this morning, did great. People are like asking me like, "Are you sure you've been injured?" Because they're like, "You're moving pretty well," and I mean, I am moving better now than I have, and it's been multiple years. As you stick with it and are actually like committing to doing it, like you start seeing the results pretty darn quickly.
I just want to say thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, for sure, man. No problem at all.
Cool. Why don't we get started by maybe you tell us a little more about your background, like what you do, how old are you, and how long you've been having this chronic lower back problem.
So I'm Tyler. I'm 37. Has been athlete, still weekend warrior though. Work in logistics and transportation. Been doing that for almost 13 years now. Try and stay as active as I can. Been dealing with lower back pain and sciatica and hip pain for almost 2 years now. Over exercise and workout related injury that just never could get to go away. Been working at trying to get right back where I left off.
Yeah, absolutely. So what would you say your worst moment before joining program?
Probably my worst moment was thinking that I was better. I'd been doing a lot of stuff on my own, been doing some treatments, and I was like, you know what? I'm starting to feel pretty good. And then I went and played in one of my city league basketball games and was like, I'm just going to take it easy. And probably the second or third time down the court, went to jump stop and just was right back at the very beginning. Like I'd never done any rehab, very beginning of an injury. And at that point, I was kind of in the mode of like, this is my life now. And like, I guess I just can't do this stuff anymore.
That's tough. And you say, oh, you also tried some treatment before. So what kind of treatment you've tried before? And just out of curiosity, how much money you spent in the past as well?
I've done acupuncture, dry needling. I've done cupping. I've done a couple different stints with a chiropractor. I did do some in-person physical therapy. I've done peptides. I feel like I've done it all at this point. I mean, I've spent thousands of dollars just trying to get myself back to feeling like how I feel like I should.
That's tough.
Yeah, it's been a battle. It's been a journey.
Yeah. So what would you say your pain level right now versus before we worked together?
At my worst right now, like would be like a 3 if I overuse or do something. But compared to 3 being my baseline before was like as good as I could get myself. So I definitely am having times now where I would say I'm at a 0. I actually have gone back the last 3 weeks and played some pickup basketball. I played this morning, did great. People are like asking me like, "Are you sure you've been injured?" Because they're like, "You're moving pretty well," and I mean, I am moving better now than I have, and it's been multiple years.
That's awesome, man. I'm happy
Yeah,
for
man.
Yeah, so what would you say the biggest difference between all the exercises that we're doing compared to, I guess, all the exercises you tried before with your physio, with your cardio, etc.?
This programming that I'm doing, it almost feels more systemic than like localized, like some of the other like things that I've been doing. It's totally separate from like, yes, I'm still doing the strengthening exercises to strengthen all those muscles and get better, but this stuff is more like stripping off all the layers. And I think just being more intentional and having a more systemic approach has like kind of what's been the main difference for me anyway, from my experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you break it down a little bit more?
For instance, like the most basic move that we do is just like a 90-90 hip lift, right? And from all of the like hip shifts and banded stretches and like getting in this position, doing ISO like split squats and like all these things, there's like all of these extra like like spots and things that you're having to focus on, where here with like just that simple exercise, like you have a few keys and then you can really focus on like honing in, holding that position, and like actually feeling like where your body's supposed to move and hold in the spot you're trying to get to. And the cues are really easy to find, and it just makes it something that you can do it daily, and you get better at it and you see the changes daily and like how you feel, or even if you're having a bad day, you can feel kind of where you're at just with these simple exercises.
That's great, man. That's great. So what would you say your favorite part of this program or favorite exercise?
My favorite part is just the kind of calm nature of it, I would say. It's almost like a meditation of sorts for me. I don't have like a certain time of day that I do these. I do my program before I exercise every time, no matter what. That's my warm up. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and like I have a crazy morning and I'll hit a couple sets first thing in the morning. Sometimes the opposite. Sometimes I've had a cranky day and I'll hit them before I go to bed at night. There's days where I've done the routine 3 times in a day. And that's what's nice about it is that like it's available to do all the times. You're not going to get fatigued from it. It almost has like a mentally calming effect also.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I heard a lot of my clients say, in the first couple of weeks, especially because we're doing a lot of breathing work, right? A lot of breathing exercise. In the first, I think 2 or 3 weeks, you're kind of like skeptical, right? You don't know whether it's going to
Sure.
be real or not. And then once you actually see the long-term result, you're like, whoa, this actually works for me. Do you feel the same way?
100%. And it's just, especially like when you've been injured, a lot of times coming back from that is just like one foot in front of the other. And it's really easy to start something and be like, this isn't working immediately. But I feel like with this, like it's so simplistic in nature that it becomes a routine so easily that you just are putting that one foot in front of the other and then you just start seeing the results. I mean, they're like, I'm not going to say that they're day to day, but as you stick with it and are actually like committing to doing it, like you start seeing the results pretty darn quickly.
That's great. Now, I know you
Yeah.
tried a lot of things before, so what would you say your mindset before joining the program? Are you pretty skeptical or and now if you are pretty skeptical, what kind of help you to move over to the point?
Well, so I mean, you're always a little skeptical, especially if you've tried a bunch of things that haven't worked. There's going to be a little bit of skepticism like built into that.
Yeah.
From my personal situation, it's a little bit different because I work with a trainer that does a lot of the same stuff that you do. So like I've seen how that's used in like other people's, fitness journeys or whatever. Um, so I was a little less skeptical, except for more than just like, I found you on Instagram and I watched a couple of videos and like it's the internet. Anybody can say anything works, right? But because I kind of had my toe dipped into the stuff that you are preaching, it kind of helped me to be like, okay, like this guy knows what he's talking about. And now I just have to do my part to give it a chance to make it work.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And I think for somebody who is maybe watching or listening to this video right now, they're on the fence for joining a program and looking for a leg up. What would you be your suggestions?
My suggestion would be to I've been doing, but is just finding the program that helps you put one foot in front of the other and progress over time without having to like expect results right this second and actually building habits that are going to help you more long term than like going to a chiropractor and getting that adjustment. And you stand up after the chiropractor and they go, how do you feel now? And you're like, man, I don't know. I've like, you've given me 8 seconds to realize to ask me how I feel. Like, I don't know. I need some time. And so with this, like it is a commitment, but it's also kind of a commitment to yourself and to the program. And that is what's going to give you results more so than any one specific little twist or turn.
Yeah, absolutely. And is there anything else you want to add at the end?
Honestly, it's just nice having someone to hold you accountable. You know, Alvin's checking in every week, and with your weekly assessments, that's also another accountability to yourself to check, recheck, test, and if things aren't working, then you're there asking along the way, like, hey, how are you feeling today? If you're not feeling good, okay, well, let's dive into that a little bit more. And like that is something that not a lot of online coaches do. And I mean, it's really hard to find.
I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
You. All right. So I think that should be it. That should be it for the interview.